Ladies and gentlemen, life has a way of presenting challenges that often feel far beyond our control. In those moments, we face a choice to carry the weight alone or to trust in something greater. The truth is, there's incredible power in surrendering the things we cannot handle to God. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's recognizing that while we have responsibilities, we are not the ultimate architects of the universe. Surrender is not weakness, it's the ultimate act of wisdom and trust. It takes profound strength and courage to acknowledge that some things are beyond your control. Our natural inclination is to hold on tightly to everything in life, to our plans, our desires, and even our worries. We think if we just work harder, plan better, or try more, we can control the outcomes. But there comes a point when no amount of effort can move the immovable or change the unchangeable. It is in those moments that true wisdom emerges, and we recognize the necessity of surrender. Surrendering does not mean giving up. It does not mean you stop striving for your goals, abandon your dreams, or accept defeat. It means you release the burden of carrying the entire load on your own. It's the realization that you don't have to face life's challenges alone. When you surrender, you're not saying, I quit, you're saying, I trust. You're choosing to place your faith in God's infinite wisdom, knowing He sees the bigger picture that you cannot. Imagine standing in front of a massive ocean, trying to push back the waves with your hands. It's an impossible task, yet that's what we often attempt when we refuse to surrender. But the moment you step back and let the waves flow as they are meant to, you find peace. You realize that the ocean has a rhythm, a purpose, and a power far greater than your own. Surrender is like stepping back and letting the waves do what they are meant to do, trusting that the outcome will align with a greater plan. Trusting God with your burdens is not about losing control, it's about gaining clarity. When you surrender, you free yourself from the constant mental and emotional strain of trying to manage what's beyond your reach. This act of trust allows you to focus your energy on what you can control: your actions, your attitude, and your faith. It's about doing what you can and leaving the rest to the one who holds the universe in his hands. Surrender requires humility, and humility is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. It takes a wise person to admit that they don't have all the answers, and a brave person to trust in something greater than themselves. Surrendering to God is not an act of defeat, it's a declaration of trust in His power, wisdom, and love. In that trust, you find freedom, peace, and the strength to move forward with confidence, knowing you are never alone. Placing your burdens in God's hands brings freedom from fear and anxiety. Life is full of challenges, uncertainties, and pressures that can weigh heavily on you in your mind and heart. When you try to carry those burdens alone, they grow heavier with time, often leading to fear of the unknown and anxiety about what lies ahead. It's natural to feel the urge to solve everything yourself, to map out every detail and control every outcome. But the truth is, no one is strong enough to bear the weight of life's complexities entirely on their own. That's where the act of entrusting your burdens to God offers not just relief, but a profound transformation. When you place your burdens in God's hands, you acknowledge that there is a greater power at work in your life. This acknowledgement is the beginning of true freedom. You no longer need to live with the constant worry of whether you're doing enough, whether things will work out, or whether you're making the right decisions. Instead, you can rest in the assurance that God's wisdom far surpasses your own. It's like stepping out of a storm into a shelter, knowing that while the storm may still rage outside, you are safe and protected. Fear often stems from the unknown, from the inability to see how things will unfold. Anxiety grows when we feel out of control, when we're unsure about the future or overwhelmed by the present. By placing your burdens in God's hands, you're choosing to let go of the need to control everything. This doesn't mean you stop caring or trying. It means you stop worrying about the things that are beyond your reach. You shift your focus from the problem to the provider, from the chaos to the peace that comes with faith. This act of surrender allows your mind and heart to find rest. Fear and anxiety thrive in an environment of doubt, but when you trust God with your burdens, doubt begins to fade. You start to experience a calm that isn't dependent on circumstances, but on the assurance that God is working everything out for your good. Even in the midst of difficulties, this trust can anchor you, providing a sense of stability that fear and anxiety cannot shake. The freedom you experience when you place your burdens in God's hands is not just emotional, but also spiritual. It opens the door for you to live more fully, to engage with the present moment without being consumed by worries about the future. You become more focused on the things you can control: your actions, your attitude, your faith, while leaving the rest to God. This shift in perspective doesn't just reduce fear and anxiety, it transforms how you approach life. Placing your burdens in God's hands is an act of faith that reminds you you're not alone in your struggles. It reinforces the truth that you are supported, loved, and guided by a power far greater than yourself. This faith brings a deep sense of peace, a freedom that allows you to step forward with courage and confidence, knowing that no matter what happens, you are in the care of a God who never fails. Faith and effort must go hand in hand. Trust God while you do your part. Faith is a powerful force that allows you to see beyond your current circumstances, to trust in a plan greater than your own. But faith alone without action is incomplete. It is not enough to simply believe that things will work out. You must also take deliberate steps toward the outcomes you seek. Trusting God is not a license for inaction. It's a call to partner with Him in the process of fulfilling your potential. Effort is the tangible expression of your faith. When you believe that God has a plan for your life, you demonstrate that belief by putting in the work. Whether it's pursuing your dreams, improving your character, or navigating challenges, your effort is a reflection of your trust in the possibilities that faith inspires. Sitting idly while waiting for miracles disregards the gifts and abilities God has already given you. Faith should motivate you to act, and effort should be fueled by the belief that God is guiding and blessing your actions. At the same time, effort without faith can lead to frustration and exhaustion. When you rely solely on your own strength, you quickly find that the weight of the world is too much to bear. Faith reminds you that you are not alone, that there is a divine presence working alongside you, providing strength, wisdom, and direction. It's the balance between faith and effort that creates harmony. You do your best, and you leave the rest in God's hands, trusting that He will handle what you cannot. Trusting God while doing your part means taking initiative with confidence, not fear. It's about stepping forward boldly, knowing that your efforts are supported by a power greater than yourself. This mindset allows you to approach challenges with resilience because you understand that success is not solely dependent on you. It's freeing to know that while your role is essential, the ultimate outcomes are in God's control. Faith and effort together create a dynamic force that drives you forward. Faith gives you hope while effort gives you momentum. Trusting God does not mean the road will always be smooth, but it does mean you can move forward with peace, knowing that you are doing what is within your power and leaving the rest to Him. This partnership of faith and effort allows you to achieve more than you ever thought possible, as you align your actions with His divine purpose. God's plans for you are always greater than what you can envision. As human beings, we often see life through a limited lens, shaped by our experiences, desires, and understanding of what is possible. We dream and plan based on what we believe we are capable of or what we think the world can offer. But God operates on a different level entirely. His perspective is infinite, His wisdom boundless, and His vision for your life far exceeds anything you could imagine for yourself. We tend to confine our dreams within the boundaries of what feels safe or achievable, but God's plans are not restricted by those limitations. He sees your potential in ways you cannot, and He knows the path that will lead you to a future far greater than you could construct on your own. What may feel like a setback in your life could actually be a setup for something extraordinary. A door closing might not be the end, but the beginning of a journey toward a door you never knew existed. Trusting that God's plans are greater requires humility. It means acknowledging that your understanding is finite and that there are aspects of your future you cannot yet comprehend. This trust isn't easy, especially when life takes turns that seem confusing or painful. But even in those moments, God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating events in ways that align with His greater purpose for your life. What you see as a detour might be the exact path you need to take to grow, to learn, or to prepare for something far beyond your imagination. Sometimes the plans we create for ourselves are rooted in fear or doubt. We aim lower than we should because we are afraid of failure or because we underestimate our worth. But God's plans are rooted in love, purpose, and a deep understanding of who you are and who you are meant to become. He calls you to rise above your fears and trust that He is leading you towards something greater than you would dare to dream. Believing in God's plans means letting go of your need for control. It means accepting that you won't always understand why certain things happen, but having faith that every experience, good or bad, is part of a bigger picture. It's about embracing the journey even when it's difficult and trusting that each step is taking you closer to the life God has prepared for you. The beauty of God's plans is that they often exceed our expectations in ways we never anticipated. He doesn't just give you what you think you want, He gives you what you truly need. His plans are not just about success or achievement, they are about transformation, about shaping you into the person you are meant to be and leading you toward a life of deeper fulfillment, purpose, and joy. So when life doesn't go as you plan, take heart. Trust that God's vision for your life is greater than your own and that He is leading you towards something extraordinary. Rest in the assurance that His plans are always for your good, even when you cannot see the full picture. Peace comes when you let go of the need to control every outcome. In a world where we're taught to plan, prepare, and manage every detail of our lives, the idea of letting go can feel counterintuitive. We want certainty, predictability, and a sense of control over what happens next. But life, in all its complexity, rarely goes exactly as we plan. Holding tightly to the need to control every outcome only creates tension, stress, and frustration. True peace comes when you release that grip and trust that not everything needs to be in your hands. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning responsibility or ceasing to care. It means recognizing the limits of what you can influence and being okay with the rest. It's about doing your part, taking thoughtful actions, making wise decisions, and giving your best effort, and then surrendering the rest to a higher power. When you try to control every outcome, you burden yourself with expectations that are often unrealistic. This constant striving for control drains your energy and robs you of the joy of the present moment. When you release the need to control, you create space for acceptance and trust. You start to see that some things are beyond your reach for a reason. Life's unpredictability isn't something to fear, it's an invitation to grow in faith and resilience. By letting go, you allow the natural flow of events to unfold as they are meant to, trusting that what is meant for you will not pass you by. This act of releasing control also frees you from the fear of failure. When you insist on controlling every outcome, you become paralyzed by the what-ifs of life. What if things don't go as planned? What if you make a mistake? But when you let go, you realize that failure is not the end, but a step in the process. You find peace in knowing that even when things don't go your way, they can still work out for your good. Peace comes from trusting that life is not entirely up to you. It's a shift in perspective where you stop carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders and start embracing the freedom that comes with trust. You begin to understand that the outcomes you once tried so hard to control often turn out better when you allow them to unfold naturally. This doesn't mean life will always be easy or go exactly how you hoped, but it does mean you can move through it with a calm heart, knowing you've done your part and left the rest in capable hands. Letting go of control is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. It's an acknowledgement that peace is found not in micromanaging life, but in trusting the process and allowing yourself to be guided by something greater. When you let go of the need to control every outcome, you step into a place of true peace, a peace that carries you through uncertainty and strengthens you in ways control never could. Trusting God transforms uncertainty into assurance and strength. Life is filled with uncertainties, moments where the path ahead is unclear, challenges arise unexpectedly, or the future feels overwhelming. In these moments, it's easy to be consumed by fear and doubt, questioning whether you have the strength to move forward. But trusting God shifts this perspective entirely. It allows you to face the unknown not with anxiety, but with a deep sense of assurance, knowing that you are not walking through life alone. When you trust God, you tap into a source of strength far greater than your own. You no longer feel the need to have all the answers or control every situation because you believe in a plan that is bigger than your immediate circumstances. This trust doesn't eliminate challenges, but it reframes how you approach them. Instead of viewing obstacles as insurmountable, you see them as opportunities for growth, guided by a hand that never lets you go. Uncertainty often creates a void and uncomfortable space where answers are not readily available. Trusting God fills that void with hope and clarity. It reminds you that even when you can't see the full picture, God does. He is not only aware of your struggles, but is actively working to bring good out of them. Trusting in Him gives you the confidence to take the next step, even when the road ahead is foggy, because you know His guidance will lead you where you need to be. This trust also strengthens your inner resilience. When you lean on God, you discover that you can endure more than you thought possible. His strength becomes your strength, and His peace becomes your peace. It doesn't mean you won't feel fear or doubt, but those feelings no longer control you. Instead, you are anchored by the assurance that no matter what happens, God is with you, providing support and direction. Trusting God transforms the narrative of uncertainty. Instead of being paralyzed by what you don't know, you become empowered by what you do know, that God's love, wisdom, and plans for you are steadfast. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a daily decision to surrender your worries and lean into faith. With each step of trust, your confidence grows, and the uncertainty that once seemed overwhelming begins to fade into the background. In trusting God, you find a strength that surpasses human understanding. It's the kind of strength that allows you to remain calm in chaos, hopeful in hardship, and courageous in the face of the unknown. This trust doesn't guarantee an easy path, but it assures you of a guided one filled with purpose, grace, and the assurance that you are never alone. In the journey of life, placing everything in God's hands is not a surrender of effort, but an embrace of trust, wisdom, and faith. It transforms uncertainty into assurance, anxiety into peace, and limitations into boundless possibilities. By releasing control, you allow His greater plan to unfold, a plan that exceeds anything you can envision. Trusting God doesn't erase challenges, but it equips you with the strength to face them and the confidence to move forward with purpose. Remember, God's hands are steady, His plans are perfect, and His love for you is unwavering. Trust Him and find peace in His guidance.